Hi everyone, welcome back to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. This is your host Iggy, and we're back today with something a little different than pioneers and Indians. Today we have Imperial Japanese Infantry and a couple of Japanese medium tanks known as a Type 97 Jiha. I should have looked up Jiha to see if that's how they pronounce it. Uh, well, how shall we begin? Let's start with the soldiers. Now, the soldiers are BMC. They were sculpted by King and Country, and BMC then cast them in plastic, which you see here. There's somewhat of a butternut color, and they're very well done. These came with the BMC Iwo Jima playset. You could also buy them in a plastic header card or a plastic bag with a header card. Both Japanese and American Marines. And they got some great poses, such as the officer here. Although the sword is not well defined, his katana, is that what they call it? Is not well defined, and it looks like he's holding a stick, as you can see here. And he's holding a bamboo pistol, but it looks like he's merely pointing with his index finger. So those two things are not well defined. It appears that he's wearing a canvas covered helmet. And then they have a figure with a Type 99 machine gun, which at first blush kind of looks like a Bren gun, doesn't it? He's wearing the fatigue cap. A lot of time we're accustomed seeing it with the little flaps on the back to protect the neck from the sun. The Havelock, I guess, is what it's named after a officer in the Indian Army, British Indian Army during the Great Mutiny. Now, this figure here is operating what is commonly known and incorrectly known as a knee mortar. If you actually placed this on your knee and fired it, you would shatter your knee. You probably wouldn't feel too good afterwards. But the reason they call it that is the shape of the bottom of it looks like it would fit nicely over your knee. But it was designed to be placed on the ground and then fired. Oh yeah, he's got the neck flaps on his hat, doesn't he? I have one of these hats. I bought it for $10. I used to wear it when I would go for a walk in the neighborhood. I remember this lady said, "You're really strange." I was actually kind of proud of that remark. And this guy has attached to his Arisaka rifle a flag. It's got Japanese writing on it. There's the prone firing position. Now, with the defense of Iwo Jima, I don't think they'd be wearing full kit like that. Because they were living in caves and stuff. I just don't think they would have been wearing something like that. So these are a nice collection of Japanese forces. Now, I also have some Japanese that are in the sort of a, not a mint green, but a very, like a light reed green, similar to what the German Africa Corps wore in North Africa. And I think this color was what the Japanese Marines wore. I have no idea who made these, and they look rather small. They're, I think, 45 millimeter. I don't know what that transfers or translates into um, inches, but I'm guessing maybe these are like 1/48 scale. So we'll put the 132 scale figure, and you can see these are quite smaller. So these are probably 1/48 scale. It doesn't give me any indication of where they were made unless it's on here. Let's find out. What do you think, guys? It says made in China. That doesn't really tell me much, does it? Did you know that 80% of toys made today are manufactured in China? And the most successful toy company right now is Lego Toys. They've had a 24% increase in their sales every year, which is phenomenal. So Legos are doing quite well, and some of them are very pricey. They're $150 or more. I don't know how parents can. If I was a parent and I saw that on my child's Christmas list, I would be kind of concerned that I would need a bank loan. Now, these tanks up here are the Type 97 Chiha tank. And these are 135 scale, but you can use 135 with 132. It works much better than, say, these here. These look like little children compared to the 132 scale. I'm not even sure where I got them. I think they came in a bucket of soldiers or something, but since I was prone to purchase any soldiers that I saw at one point in time, I'm more discerning now in what I purchase. But in the early days of collecting, I pretty much purchased anything. And these figures they're just not that good, but I probably got them really cheap. Now these looks like one of the sponson boxes fell off. No, I guess that's correct because this one is the same. Yeah. Okay. My brother assembled and painted these. These are by Tamiya. However, I'm told that Tamiya is pronounced differently depending on where you live. For instance, in English, it's Tamiya, which is how I've always said it. And then in American English, it's Tamaya. If you say it in Japanese, it's Tamaya. I guess you have to get deep in the diaphragm. Tamaya. But I've always called them Tamiya, and they make really great model kits. I've always liked them. And this is my brother assembled those, and when I took these models out, I was very pleased to see that they were still intact and not broken or missing pieces. However, all the infantry, broken rifles, missing limbs, broken in half. Here's a picture of them after my brother assembled them and put them into the diorama. You can see the drive sprocket of one of the tanks in the background there. Let's move this out of the way because I think you'll find this interesting. This is a recruitment poster for the tank corps. So let's take a look at that real quick. Now, I wouldn't want to be the driver of that tank, because when that hits the ground again, that's going to shake your guts out. That's going to hit very hard when that comes over the ridge. But it makes for a dramatic poster. This is for their volunteers to their tank corps. And it's interesting that their tank corps, they required them to know Japanese literature and history. I guess perhaps they wanted to see, test the intelligence of the recruits, because you don't really need a lot of literature when you're a tank crewman. Here's an illustration of the Type 97. Nicely done illustration. This is from a book called The Rise and Fall of Imperial Japan. And then over here I have the Japanese handbook, and it shows Japanese light tanks on parade. Now, the Japanese kind of learned some tactical lessons in Manchuria that were to not be very useful to them when they encountered the Russians and the Americans. The Chinese did not have very many anti-tank capabilities, so the tactics they adopted and the tanks they adopted were suitable for China, but woefully deficient when encountering American armor or Soviet armor. For instance, German. Was machen Sie hier? Ich bin ein Dummkopf. Anyway, I gotta stop it. What was I saying, for God's sake? The Sherman would make piecemeal of this. It would, the armor on one of these was 0.3 to 1 inch in thickness. That would be like putting a, if you have a 75 round, it would go through there like cutting butter with a hot knife. So the Japanese didn't have much chance when they had tank upon tank encounters. But I think my brother did a very nice job with painting these. I'll get a close-up so you can see that. Very nice. He rusted the tracks out and made them look dirty. Okay, guys, I think it's time for Iggy to hit the dusty trail. I want to thank you for coming along and getting Iggy with it. For those of you who have recently joined the Iggy Army, I appreciate your, what's the word, patronage? Not patronage, but your, I don't know what to say. For some reason, I'm kind of tired today. My blood sugar was very high this morning. I ate a bowl of cereal, and that kind of did it for me. I think I was saying goodbye, wasn't I? Why don't we hit the dusty trail and meet up at Roy Rogers Ranch? How's that sound, guys? Maybe we'll see Rinty on the way there, old Rin Tin Tin. Been thinking a lot about that show for some reason lately. I need to watch some episodes on YouTube or something. Anyway, here we go. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. I can't sing worth a bucket of shit. Guys, let's go. I'm wasting your time at this point. So thanks for coming along and checking out these Imperial Japanese troops from BMC and also these Japanese Type 97 medium tanks from Tamiya. And I guess I'll say sayonara.